Imagine a sage so wise that he could see the past, the present, and the future. A poet so gifted that his words shaped the destiny of an entire civilization. This is Vyasa, the eternal storyteller of India, the one who wove the epic tale of the Mahabharata, a narrative that continues to inspire us even today. Vyasa was not just a sage, he was the architect of dharma, born to the celestial Rishi Parashara and Satyavati, a fisherwoman with divine origins. Vyasa's life began with purpose. His birth itself was miraculous, occurring on an island in the Yamuna river, earning him the name Krishna Dvaipayana. From a young age, Vyasa mastered the Vedas, becoming a symbol of wisdom and knowledge. But his contributions didn't stop there. He divided the Vedas into four parts, making them accessible for future generations. And then he took on his greatest task, composing the Mahabharata, a story of dharma, adharma, and human emotions. In our previous video, we explored Bhishma's sacrifices for the Kuru dynasty. But who ensured that Bhishma's story and the lessons of the Mahabharata were preserved for eternity? It was Vyasa. Through his words, the struggles of Bhishma and the Kuru dynasty became immortal. Today we dive into extraordinary life of Vyasa, the man behind the Mahabharata, the sage who ensured that the lessons of dharma, karma and destiny reached every corner of the world. Let's uncover the story of the storyteller himself. Before Vyasa became the sage whose words would shape the destiny of the Kuru dynasty, his story began with his parents, Rishi Parashara and Satyavati. Their union was destined to bring a divine soul into the world, but this was no ordinary meeting. Satyavati, also known as Mastagandha for her distinct fragrance of fish, was a fisherwoman ferrying people across the Yamuna river. One day, Rishi Parashara, a revered sage known for his immense knowledge and spiritual powers, encountered her. Parashara saw in her a divine connection and knew she was chosen to bear a child with a great destiny. But Satyavati was hesitant. She feared for her reputation and future. Parashara, understanding her concerns, used his divine powers to ensure that her maidenhood would remain intact and she would gain a divine fragrance that would last forever. Assured by his words, Satyavati accepted, and their union took place in the middle of the river, shrouded in divine mist. From this sacred union, a child was born on an island in the Yamuna river. This child was Krishna Dvaipayana. Krishna because of his dark complexion, and Dvaipayana because he was born on an island. This boy was no ordinary child. As soon as he was born, he grew into a young man through his divine will. Vyasa immediately displayed divine abilities. He mastered the Vedas and other spiritual texts with ease, earning him the name Vyasa. Even as a young sage, his purpose was clear: to organize and preserve the spiritual knowledge of the world and ensure it was passed to future generations. While Satyavati returned to her life, transformed by the divine boon, Vyasa began his journey as a wandering sage. He meditated in the forest and the Himalayas, preparing himself for the monumental tasks that lay ahead. This was just the beginning of Vyasa's extraordinary life. His birth marked the arrival of a soul destined to shape the spiritual and historic fabric of Bharat. From the island of his birth to the hearts of millions, Vyasa's story remains timeless, a symbol of divine purpose and wisdom. Vyasa was not just a sage and storyteller. He was also a protector of the Kuru dynasty. His role ensured that the lineage of the Kurus would continue even during moments of great crisis. Let's explore how this divine sage became an integral part of Hastinapur's story and history. The story begins with a crisis. The Kuru throne faced a void due to the untimely deaths of key heirs. Bhishma, ever loyal to the dynasty, sought a way to preserve the royal lineage, but he needed divine intervention. It was at this moment that Vyasa, the son of Satyavati, stepped forward. Satyavati, now queen of Hastinapura and Vyasa's mother, turned to her son for help. She invoked the ancient tradition of Niyoga, where a learned sage could father children for the continuation of a royal lineage. Vyasa agreed, understanding the importance of dharma and the need to preserve the Kuru dynasty. Before proceeding, Vyasa entered deep meditation. This was not merely a biological act, but one steeped in spiritual significance. He ensured that the children born from this union would carry the wisdom and strength necessary to rule the kingdom. From this sacred intervention, three sons were born: Dhritarashtra, who was strong but blind; Pandu, who became a skilled warrior and king; and Vidura, wise and just, born to a maidservant yet destined to play a pivotal role in the Mahabharata. Vyasa's role didn't end with their birth. He continued to guide the Kuru princes, teaching them about dharma, the responsibilities of kingship, and the importance of justice. His wisdom shaped their understanding of governance and prepared them for their roles in the epic struggle of the Mahabharata. As the years passed, Vyasa became a spiritual guide and mediator for the Kuru dynasty. Whenever conflicts arose within the royal family, Vyasa's words of wisdom brought clarity and peace. He reminded the Kurus of their higher purpose and their duty to uphold dharma. Though his direct involvement in the Kuru dynasty was limited, Vyasa's contributions were monumental. He ensured the continuation of the royal lineage, provided guidance during critical moments, and shaped the moral framework of the dynasty. His influence can be seen in every twist and turn of the Mahabharata. Vyasa's greatest contribution to the world is Mahabharata. It is not just an epic but a timeless guide to dharma, life, and the complexities of human nature. Spanning over 1 lakh verses, and it is the longest poem ever composed, a treasure of knowledge and wisdom for all generations. The Mahabharata was born from Vyasa's deep understanding of life and dharma. He witnessed the struggles, conflicts, and choices that shaped the Kuru dynasty. He saw how dharma often clashed with ambition and human emotions, creating an intricate web of decisions and consequences. Vyasa composed the Mahabharata not just as a historical record but as a lesson for humanity. It was his way of ensuring that the teachings of dharma, the consequences of adharma, and the complexities of human relationships were preserved for all time. The Mahabharata captures the story of the Kuru dynasty from its root to its eventual downfall. It tells of the ambitions of the Kauravas, the struggles of the Pandavas, and the moral dilemmas faced by every character. Through these stories, Vyasa explored the eternal battle between right and wrong, dharma and adharma. Vyasa passed down the Mahabharata through oral tradition, ensuring that his disciples memorized and preserved the verses. This ensured that the teachings within the epic would be shared across generations, inspiring countless seekers of truth and wisdom. Within the Mahabharata lies the spiritual heart, the Bhagavad Gita. It is a conversation between Krishna and Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Through this dialogue, Vyasa dwells into profound questions about duty, life, and the path to liberation. The Gita stands as one of the most revered texts in Indian philosophy. The Mahabharata was not just a story of war, it was a mirror of humanity. Vyasa's words reflected the virtues and flaws of people, their struggles, and their triumphs. Through this epic, Vyasa preserved the moral and spiritual fabric of the society, ensuring that the lessons of the past could guide the future. Vyasa's legacy is not just about the Mahabharata, it goes beyond his words, into the heart of dharma and spiritual wisdom. His teachings have shaped the foundations of Indian philosophy, influencing generations of seekers and leaders. One of Vyasa's greatest contributions was the division of the Vedas. The ancient Vedic knowledge was vast and complex, and Vyasa understood the need to make it accessible. He divided the Vedas into 4 parts: Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajur Veda, and Atharva Veda. This act earned him the name Vedavyasa, meaning the one who arranged the Vedas. Vyasa passed his knowledge to dedicated disciples. Among them were Jaimini, who carried forward the teachings of Samveda, and Shuka, his son, known for his profound wisdom. Through his disciples, Vyasa ensured that the spiritual wisdom of the Vedas and the Mahabharata reached far and wide. The Mahabharata itself is a treasure trove of spiritual teachings. Vyasa used the story of the Kuru dynasty to reflect the eternal battle between dharma and adharma. The characters, their struggles, and their choices are lessons in morality, justice, and the complexities of human life. At the heart of the Mahabharata lies the Bhagavad Gita, one of Vyasa's greatest gifts to humanity. Through Krishna's teachings to Arjuna, Vyasa explored profound questions about duty, righteousness, and the meaning of life. The Gita continues to inspire seekers across the world, transcending time and culture. Vyasa's teachings were not just for the rulers of Hastinapura, but for everyone. He emphasized the importance of dharma, the principle of right conduct. He taught that life is a constant balance of choices and that one must act with wisdom and responsibility. Through his disciples, his epics, and his division of the Vedas, Vyasa's legacy became immortal. His teachings have formed the backbone of Indian philosophy, guiding humanity in times of doubt and conflict. Vyasa's life reminds us that true greatness lies not in power or fame, but in the wisdom we leave behind. His spiritual teachings continue to light the path for millions, making him a timeless beacon of dharma and knowledge. Vyasa's life was not just about his extraordinary contributions to knowledge and dharma. His work extended far beyond time, shaping the spiritual, cultural, and moral foundations of Hindu civilization. From dividing the Vedas to composing the Mahabharata, Vyasa's legacy continues to guide humanity even today. Vyasa's teachings taught us that dharma is not a rigid rule but a path that requires wisdom and courage. His stories showed us that choices have consequences, and even the greatest heroes face challenges of morality and duty. Through the Mahabharata, Vyasa preserved the essence of life's struggles and victories. The epic does not just tell the story of the Kuru dynasty but mirrors the conflicts we all face between duty and desire, right and wrong, self interest and the greater good. In our previous video, we explored Bhishma's sacrifices and this video Vyasa's contributions to the Kuru dynasty. Now the story moves to Vyasa's son, Dhritarashtra, a man whose blindness symbolized more than a physical condition. His inability to see the truth set the stage for the epic conflict of the Mahabharata. Dhritarashtra's decisions, influenced by his love for his sons and his inner conflicts, would shape the fate of the Kuru dynasty. His story is one of power, emotions, and the heavy price of attachment. Join us in the next chapter where we uncover the story of Dhritarashtra, a king torn between his responsibilities and his love for his family, a man whose choices led to the great war of the Mahabharata.